in the hope that somebody will come along and say, there's money in this, let's support Meghan and her as ever brand. What sparked it? I thought that was just such a disgrace. I thought she behaved so badly, and Harry too. And she targeted, there's no doubt she targeted Harry and found someone who was a childhood friend of his who could introduce...
Picture this, a quiet California morning, the sky barely awake, sunlight sneaking through the windows. The air feels calm, the coffee's still steaming on the counter, when suddenly, buzz! Inside that massive $14 million Montecito mansion, Meghan Markle's phone starts going wild. Notifications flash one after another, lighting up the screen like a mini fireworks show. Calls pour in non-stop, one after another, and in that moment, everything spirals fast, real fast. Why? Because Tom Bower just dropped a bombshell revelation, and the internet cannot stop talking. What he's exposing this time has the kind of punch that sends PR teams into full-blown panic mode. Reports say Meghan's been keeping things low-key, staying out of sight behind closed doors. This isn't just another royal drama episode. This is a public storm hitting full force, and it's all unfolding right now.
Book, Harry Must Be Nuts. This is one of the text messages his friends were sending around to each other after Meghan's first introduction to Harry's friends in 2017 during a shooting weekend at Sandringham. You know, Meghan's podcast has fallen off the charts. She's been criticized for the content. There are rumors that her As Ever launch wasn't as successful as she considered it. Critically, With Love Meghan was not.
But before we dive into the chaos and uncover exactly what's got Meghan on edge, make sure you're locked in. Subscribe, tap that like, and turn on those notifications. This story's moving fast, and trust me, you don't want to blink and miss the next twist. Now, let's break down the real deal with Tom Bower. This guy isn't just some random internet voice chasing clicks from a dark room. Nah, he's a heavyweight in journalism. A veteran with decades of experience digging into powerful figures around the world. We're talking business giants, public icons, and people with influence so deep it shifts entire industries. Yeah, that includes the royal family too. Bower's got a rep for saying what others won't dare whisper. When he locks onto someone, it's never light. It's intense, uncomfortable, and explosive. And when he writes about you, oh, that's when the pressure really starts to rise. Tom Bower doesn't sugarcoat anything. He doesn't protect reputations or play nice. He digs, he questions, and he keeps pushing until the truth fights its way to the surface. His last book, Revenge, Meghan, Harry, and the War Between the Windsors turned the royal world upside down. The reaction? Instant and explosive.
Over the long term. And it's not healthy to have these stories of rivalry, and to split the foundation was absolutely unnecessary.
Royal insiders were reportedly stunned, scrambling as headlines flooded every corner of the internet. That book dropped like a thunderclap. Claims inside it caused shockwaves that people are still talking about today. Many thought that was the peak, that Bower had already said everything he could. But guess what? He's gone even further this time. And that says a lot considering the frenzy his last release unleashed. Now, Bower's spotlight is swinging toward a part of Meghan's past she probably hoped would stay buried, her early Hollywood years. Not the glamorous red carpet moments or the polished magazine spreads, but the grind, those days of endless auditions, uncertain roles, and tough breaks in an industry that chews people up fast. Hollywood is a jungle, and everyone knows talent alone doesn't open doors. You need timing, connections, and the right people pulling strings at the right moment. And according to what Bower's uncovered, Meghan's path to fame might not have been as natural as it once seemed. There are new claims swirling about certain industry doors opening out of nowhere and opportunities showing up suddenly without much explanation. These little details are making people in entertainment circles raise their eyebrows big time, because now the story being whispered behind the scenes sounds very different from the one the public's been told for years. And here's where it gets wild. There are rumors floating around about the powerful connections Meghan might have leaned on to climb that Hollywood ladder. We're talking about the kind of connections that make people wonder, Was Meghan's rise really about raw talent, or was it more about who she knew? And it doesn't end there. Bauer's sources are now spilling tea about people she allegedly left behind on her way up. Not that she literally stepped on anyone, but you get the vibe. Former friends left hanging, colleagues suddenly cut off, people who once had her back, gone without a trace once she moved up.
You can't trust Meghan and Harry. That's the point. Even if you think you've got a deal, and that I don't believe that is possible, but if you think you have, the palace will be shocked that they will renege immediately because they have no advantage of reconciliation. They've got no advantage of ending their vendetta.
That's the picture Bauer's painting, a woman fiercely determined to win, no matter what it cost. According to him, Meghan's climb from struggling actress to global icon wasn't built on the clean, organic story the public's been told. It was a lot more complicated than that. And just when you think it couldn't get any messier, it does. Because Bauer didn't stop at her Hollywood days. Oh no, he went way deeper. His latest claims suggest Meghan didn't just climb the ladder, she might have actually rewritten parts of her own story to make it all fit perfectly. Everything started to shift once Prince Harry entered the scene. I mean, meeting an actual prince, that changes everything. Bauer says that's exactly when Meghan started reshaping her past, tweaking details, polishing moments, adjusting her backstory to fit her new royal image. It's like watching someone build a flawless personal brand from scratch, the modern fairy tale princess with a perfectly crafted story. And one passage reportedly goes even further. It claims she reinvented entire chunks of her history to match that image. We're not talking small edits or harmless touch-ups. These are major changes to who she said she was. These are the kind of revelations that make people stop and question everything they thought they knew about her. And apparently, when Meghan heard what Tom Bauer was saying, she was furious. "That's ludicrous," she reportedly fired back, unable to believe how far this new round of claims had gone. When Meghan realized just how much detail Tom Bauer had on her, insiders say she completely lost it. Full-on meltdown mode, no exaggeration. This wasn't some recycled gossip pulled from old interviews or public records. This was deep, personal stuff, the kind of information that could only come from people who actually knew her, people who once sat at her table, shared her space, maybe even trusted her secrets. That's when the panic really hit hard. She reportedly figured out that someone close, someone she trusted, must have spoken to Bauer. And for Meghan, who's known for carefully managing every single detail of her public image, that's an absolute nightmare. Sources say Meghan struggles when she's not in full control. She likes to know what's being said, when it's being said, and exactly how it's being framed. That's how she's always operated, strategic, calculated, and always steering the narrative. But this time, with Bauer's book, she had no control, and she knew it. Word is she even had her team quietly digging around, trying to figure out who cooperated with him, like she needed to know which old friends or acquaintances had flipped. That's how tense things got. These weren't just wild rumors Bauer was tossing around. These were intimate, precise details only someone from her inner circle could have shared. The secrets he exposed cut right through that glossy PR shield she'd spent years building. Meghan had carefully crafted her story, her journey, her struggles, her rise to fame, all packaged perfectly for the public eye. And suddenly, that whole narrative was being questioned. And not just from some random internet trolls, but by Tom Bauer, a journalist known for backing his words with receipts. He did his homework, and now it was all out there. Imagine that, spending years controlling every photo, every interview, every single post to keep the image spotless. Then someone swoops in and starts cracking it wide open, showing the world that maybe, just maybe, things weren't as picture perfect as they seemed. That polished image Meghan fought so hard to protect was suddenly on the edge of breaking apart. The cracks were showing, and once they appear, there's no hiding them. Meghan's carefully polished image was starting to splinter, and every headline made it worse. But while she was trying to handle the chaos, let's switch the focus for a second, because Harry wasn't exactly calm either. From the moment whispers about Tom Bauer's new book started circling, Insiders say Harry's been in full-blown panic mode, and honestly, it's not hard to see why. Their California dream, the fresh start they bragged about, suddenly looked like it was falling apart in real time. Every page of Bauer's book felt like another piece of that dream coming undone. Let's be honest, their US ventures haven't exactly been smooth sailing. Remember that massive Netflix deal everyone was hyped about? Yeah, turns out it wasn't the fairy tale move it was sold as. Projects got shelved, content flopped, and sources say the streaming giant wasn't thrilled with how things turned out. Then there's Spotify, that big partnership, gone, canceled, done. That kind of public failure makes people start asking uncomfortable questions like, what are Meghan and Harry really offering? And sadly, the list of problems doesn't stop there. Meghan's big push into the wellness and lifestyle space, it's reportedly struggling too. The buzz isn't there, the brand's direction seems fuzzy, and fans are more confused than convinced. For a couple known for grabbing headlines, this silence around their venture says a lot. And here's the kicker. They've built their entire image around being authentic, real, and living their truth. That's been their whole message since they left royal life behind. Interviews, documentaries, books, you name it. The theme has always been about honesty and transparency. But now, that very image is being torn apart, and the timing couldn't be worse. Because with Bauer's new revelations hitting shelves, people are suddenly seeing a side of the Sussex story that doesn't match the one they've been selling. His claims are raising serious questions. Was that authentic brand ever truly real? Or was it a carefully staged act built for sympathy and spotlight? And if people start believing it was an act, that's not just a PR headache, that's a total image collapse. The whole foundation of what they've built would be at risk. Public opinion's already shifting, and that bright California fairy tale has cooled off fast. Now, with Bauer's book spilling fresh details and the media storm only growing louder, it's looking more like their empire of truth might be standing on some seriously shaky ground. They really didn't need this scandal. Not now. Not when everything's already hanging by a thread. Harry knows exactly how fast a situation like this can spiral out of control. He's seen it happen before. One headline breaks, then another, and suddenly, boom, you're caught in a never-ending media cycle where every move gets picked apart. And right now, that's exactly what's happening. Every interview, every public appearance, every little statement, they're all under the harshest spotlight imaginable. And this time, it's all being filtered through the lens of Bauer's bombshell revelations. For someone who left the royal family in search of peace, freedom, and privacy, this must feel like déjà vu in the worst way. Instead of escaping the chaos, they're right back in the middle of it, a full-blown media storm. But now, there's no royal PR machine to protect them, no royal wall to hide behind. They're completely exposed, and the timing couldn't be more brutal. And just when you think it can't get more personal, here comes Bauer, digging into one of the most sensitive chapters of Meghan's life, her family situation. This is where things get raw, emotional, and honestly, a little heartbreaking. For years, the public's only really heard Meghan's version of what happened with her dad, Thomas Markle. The story's been told the same way. He betrayed her trust, staged paparazzi photos, spoke to the press before her royal wedding, and after that, she cut him off completely. That's the version shared in interviews, documentaries, pretty much everywhere. But Bauer's suggesting there's more to that story. He's asking the tough questions, the kind that could completely shift how people see that whole situation. And according to him, the truth might not paint Meghan as the innocent victim she's always been portrayed as. See, controlling the narrative, how people see you, is powerful. If you frame a story the right way, most folks will buy it, even if they're only getting half the picture. Sources close to the situation say Meghan's been a master at this since day one, strategic, sharp, and always aware of how her story lands with the public. And Bauer's reportedly putting that on blast, claiming Meghan may have carefully molded the family drama to fit her image. One insider even said something like, Meghan understood that controlling the story was everything, and if that meant tweaking certain details or spotlighting only parts that suited her, then that's exactly what she'd do. Now, with this side of the story coming to light, people are starting to wonder, was the truth ever as simple as it seemed? That's how the game works. You shape the story before someone else does. Now, to be clear, nobody's saying Thomas Markle was some flawless father. He definitely had his own missteps. But what Bauer's hinting at suggests the story we've all been told might not be the full picture. He's painting a version where the fallout between Meghan and her dad wasn't completely one-sided like it's always been framed. Maybe, just maybe, things were happening on both sides that caused the relationship to crumble. And that's huge, because Meghan's strained relationship with her dad has become a major pillar of her public image. It's part of her story, the misunderstood daughter betrayed by those who were supposed to have her back. It's emotional, it's sympathetic, and it makes people want to root for her. But what happens if that narrative starts to crack? What if people begin to think that maybe some of it was exaggerated or reshaped to fit a cleaner version of events? Suddenly, you're not looking at the same story anymore. You're looking at someone whose carefully built public persona might not hold up under closer inspection. And it's not just about her dad anymore. Bauer's reportedly pulling back the curtain on everything, from Meghan's early Hollywood grind all the way to her transformation into a global icon. Everyone knows that story. The struggling actress turned duchess turned worldwide humanitarian figure. But Bauer's asking the hard questions. How much of that incredible journey was real, and how much of it was strategically constructed? Because let's be real, building a public persona isn't luck, it's planning, strategy, and perfect timing. And if the reports are right, Meghan was a pro at playing that game, maybe even too good. According to insiders, she knew exactly when to speak, what to say, and how to say it to shape how the world saw her. And here's the wild part. The book isn't even fully released yet, and the fallout is already exploding across the internet. Social media is on fire. Thousands of comments, endless threads, and viral clips popping up everywhere. People aren't just scrolling casually anymore, they're investigating. Fans and critics alike are pulling up old interviews, comparing quotes, and digging through years of footage. Every speech, every appearance, every little moment is being re-examined through Bauer's lens, and the inconsistencies are starting to pile up side by side. It's like watching a puzzle being rearranged in real time. And for Meghan, that's a dangerous game, because once people start seeing cracks in the story, it's almost impossible to patch them back up. Now the comparisons are everywhere. Side-by-side clips, screenshots, timelines. People are pointing out all the places where things don't quite match up. Dates that feel off, stories that shift depending on who's asking the question. It's chaos online. And here's the wildest part. It's not just her critics anymore. Even some of Meghan's former defenders, the ones who used to flood her comment sections with love and loyalty, are going silent. Those same comment threads that once overflowed with praise are now full of confusion and doubt. People are starting to ask, wait, how much of this was actually real? Did she really go through all that, or was some of it dressed up for the cameras? That's a serious problem, because these were her supporters, the ones who believed her story, who connected with her struggles, who saw her as genuine. And now they're second-guessing everything. And then there's the British press. Oh, they're loving this moment. The tabloids have gone full throttle, plastering headlines everywhere about secrets revealed and the Duchess exposed. It's like we've been thrown straight back into the early royal scandal days, but this time it's on a new level. Because unlike before, this isn't just gossip or blind speculation. Bauer's dropping detailed claims, backed with sources that seem to hit close to home. The UK media has been waiting for something like this, and now that they've got it, they're running wild. Story after story, headline after headline, every outlet is digging deep into what Bauer uncovered and what it could mean for Meghan's reputation. And they're not pulling any bunches. Every tiny piece of info, every quote, every timeline is being dissected, debated, and torn apart. Meanwhile, behind closed doors in that Montecito mansion, things are reportedly intense. The mood's heavy, really heavy. Staff are said to be walking on eggshells, unsure what might blow up next. The stress, the anxiety, the pressure, it's all radiating through the house like static electricity. PR teams are in full-blown crisis mode, phones ringing non-stop, emergency meetings happening around the clock. Everyone's scrambling, trying to figure out how to spin this, how to calm things down before it gets even worse. But here's the problem. When someone like Tom Bauer drops a book packed with this much detail, there's only so much you can do. Damage control only works when you can control the story, and right now, that's slipping fast. Every new headline, every social media post, every little statement, they're all under the harshest spotlight imaginable. And this time, it's all being filtered through the lens of Bower's bombshell revelations. For someone who left the royal family in search of peace, freedom, and privacy, this must feel like deja vu in the worst way. According to insiders, Meghan's been telling close friends she feels completely under attack. With pressure coming from every direction and nowhere to run, she's reportedly feeling betrayed, exposed, and more vulnerable than she has in years. This isn't some tabloid exaggeration. This time, it's real and it's personal. The fortress she's built around her image, the one she spent years maintaining, looks like it's starting to crumble, piece by piece. And when your entire public identity is built on precision, perfection, and control, having that image ripped apart like this, that's the kind of thing that shakes a person to their core. Once people start doubting one part of your story, they start questioning everything. Now, let's pull the curtain back for a second and take a look inside that Montecito mansion when the chaos first hit, because what insiders are describing sounds wild. Early morning, quiet, calm, and then boom! Meghan's phone starts lighting up like fireworks. Notifications, calls, texts, it all comes crashing in at once. Friends trying to warn her, messages pouring in about Bower's shocking new claims. The moment she realized what he had uncovered, sources say she lost it. Full-on crisis mode. Her team kicked into gear instantly. Publicists, crisis managers, PR experts, everyone on deck. Phones ringing non-stop, emergency meetings called on the spot. It wasn't the usual gossip storm they could just brush off. This was serious, deep, and dangerously personal. People close to the situation described the scene as pure chaos. One insider even said Meghan was pacing back and forth, nearly in tears, repeating over and over, how could he possibly know all that? She wasn't just upset, she was stunned. The level of detail in Bower's claims hit too close to home, and she couldn't figure out who could have talked. And here's what really broke her composure. This wasn't information you could just pull off the internet or find in old interviews. These were deeply private details, the kind only someone who truly knew her could have shared. That realization hit hard because it meant someone from her past, someone she thought she could trust, might have been feeding info straight to Bower. For Meghan, who's always been meticulous about controlling her image, that's the ultimate nightmare. To have such intimate parts of her life suddenly exposed for the world to pick apart, it's the kind of betrayal that cuts deep. Behind the mansion's gates, the tension was said to be unreal. Staff whispering, calls being made at all hours, people rushing to contain the fallout. Every hour brought new headlines, more speculation, and more panic. The perfect royal narrative she'd crafted for years was suddenly under siege, and this time there was no quick way to make it stop. It hit her like a punch to the gut. People she'd once been close to, people she trusted, maybe even deeply trusted, had apparently spoken to Tom Bower. That realization tore through her. The thought that someone from her inner circle, or maybe more than one, had opened up and shared private stories she never wanted the public to hear. That's the kind of shock that leaves you reeling. One insider described the moment perfectly. It was like watching someone realize their fortress wasn't as secure as they thought. All those walls she built, all that careful control over her public image, and somehow pieces were still leaking out. But Bower didn't stop with her Hollywood connections or family drama. Oh no, he went deeper. He started digging into everything: her childhood, her education, her early career moves. Every part of Meghan's past was suddenly under his microscope. And what he found? It's making people take a hard second look at how real that polished image we've all seen actually is. Sources from her days at Northwestern reportedly told Bower that the Meghan they remember back then is nothing like the version the world knows today. Not just in terms of fame or success, but in how she talked about her background, the stories she shared about her upbringing, and the image she created about what she'd been through. Apparently, there are some major gaps between what Meghan has said publicly and what the people who are actually there remember. That's where things get scary, because when the foundation of your image doesn't line up with reality and people start comparing notes, things get messy fast. Old classmates are now being asked for their take. People from her past are coming forward, and details she probably thought were buried for good are being dragged right back into the spotlight. For Meghan, that's the nightmare scenario. Everything she's worked to keep controlled and polished suddenly slipping out of her hands. This isn't just bad press, it's personal. Insiders say she's been terrified of this kind of exposure for years because it means losing control of the one thing she values most, her narrative. The version of her life she's built piece by piece, interview by interview, post by post, now feels like it's being rewritten by someone else. And maybe the hardest part of all, the realization that no matter how carefully you manage your image, the past always has a way of catching up. For someone who spent years perfecting her story, watching that story unravel in real time must feel like standing in a spotlight with nowhere left to hide. Here's where things get really intense. Tom Bower's new book isn't just built on public info. No way. The level of detail in it is way too personal, way too specific. We're talking private conversations, behind-the-scenes moments, stories that could never be found with a simple Google search. That means only one thing: someone talked. And not just one person either, probably multiple. And that's exactly what's got Meghan spiraling right now. The speculation about who cooperated is running absolutely wild. Some say it could have been former royal staff or palace aides, the ones who allegedly felt mistreated during those tense royal years and finally wanted to tell their side of the story. Others are pointing fingers at old Hollywood connections, friends, ex-colleagues, people who might have been left behind when Meghan made it big. The entertainment world can be cold like that. Doors close fast, and grudges stick around even longer. But here's the theory that's really making noise, the one that's sending shockwaves through everyone following this drama. What if someone from her own family actually talked to Bower? Just the idea of that alone is enough to rattle anyone, especially someone who's worked so hard to control every piece of their public image. And when people start whispering about family, there's one name that keeps coming up over and over: Thomas Markle, her dad. Now, to be clear, nobody knows for sure if he actually spoke to Bower, but the kind of detail in this book, the depth of what's written about Meghan's family dynamics, the moments only family would know, it's making people wonder. Because seriously, who else could possibly know that level of stuff? Apparently, Meghan is wondering the exact same thing. Sources say she's been obsessing over it, calling people, reaching out, asking blunt questions, trying to track down who the leak could be. And deep down, she's reportedly terrified that it might have been her own father. Because if that's true, if her dad really shared personal stories with a journalist, that's not just betrayal, that's devastating. For Meghan, it would mean the one boundary she thought was unbreakable had been crossed in the most public way possible. But that's not all. There's another player in the mix, and her timing is raising eyebrows too. Samantha Markle, Meghan's half-sister. Right around the time Bower's book dropped, Samantha started posting cryptic messages online, subtle hints, thank yous to certain people for finally telling the truth. She didn't name names, but she didn't have to. The internet picked up the clues instantly, and the speculation went wild. Now Meghan is reportedly trying to play detective, desperately trying to figure out who talked, who leaked, and who betrayed her. Meanwhile, someone close to the situation is said to be caught right in the middle, stuck between loyalty and truth, unsure how far this fallout might go. The whole thing feels like a pressure cooker ready to burst. Family tension, media exposure, and personal betrayal all blending together. It's the kind of chaos you can't script. And if Meghan really believes someone from her inner circle, or worse, her own family, helped Bower tell his story, this could be the most explosive chapter of all. Harry's caught right in the middle, and insiders say he's torn. On one hand, he desperately wants to protect Meghan. He's furious this keeps happening, frustrated that no matter what they do, something new always comes crashing down. But on the other hand, he's exhausted. Every few months, it's another scandal, another book, another headline dragging their names through the mud. Harry didn't leave the royal family for this. He came to California chasing peace, not to live on a non-stop drama carousel. Yet somehow, the chaos just keeps following them. Those close to the couple say the atmosphere in their Montecito mansion has turned tense, quiet, heavy, and cold. The kind of stress that doesn't fade overnight. Even small things reportedly feel strained. Because when your past keeps getting dug up, when people start questioning your every move, the emotional toll becomes impossible to ignore. And the worst part? This storm isn't even close to being over. Word is, there were already whispers about more documentaries, more writers, and more insiders ready to spill what they know about Meghan's past and her Hollywood connections. It's like once the first domino fell, the whole line started tumbling. Now everyone suddenly wants to tell their version of who she really is. For someone who spent years perfecting her image, curating every photo, every quote, every word, to watch it all unravel like this must feel devastating. The past she worked so hard to bury is creeping back up, piece by piece, and there's absolutely nothing she can do to stop it. And now here we are. Everything Meghan spent years building, all those carefully crafted stories about who she is and where she came from, it's all starting to come undone. Faster than anyone expected. Because here's the wild truth. When your entire brand, your whole public identity is built around one carefully constructed image, the moment cracks start showing, they don't stay small, they spread. People aren't just doubting one claim or one decision anymore, they're questioning everything. Every interview about authenticity, every speech about truth, every "this is who I really am" moment, it's all being seen through a totally different lens now. The public's perception has shifted, and Meghan's reputation? Insiders say it's hanging by a thread. Think about it. She went from being one of the most celebrated women on the planet, someone with global influence, high-profile partnerships, and a platform most could only dream of. But now, all those achievements, all those moments she built to define her legacy are being re-examined and picked apart. Every word, every gesture, every story once meant to inspire is now being dissected for inconsistencies. What was once admiration is turning into scrutiny, and for Meghan and Harry, it's becoming clearer by the day that this new wave of exposure could change everything they've worked to build. Here's what really stands out right now. Meghan's toughest battle isn't with Tom Bower, it's not with the British tabloids, and it's not even with the online critics tearing apart every piece of her story. Her real fight is with something way bigger, something she can't control, can't spin, can't reframe, and can't explain away. It's her past, or at least the version of her past that's suddenly surfacing for the world to see. No matter how powerful her team is, no matter how many PR experts she hires or statements she releases, there's a brutal truth staring her down. If the foundation of your image doesn't match reality, there's only so much you can do before it all starts to crack. That past she's worked so hard to reshape, to polish, to fit her own story, it's not staying buried anymore. It's pushing back, refusing to stay quiet. Piece by piece, story by story, detail by detail, it's all resurfacing. And this time, it's louder than ever. Maybe that's the thing about trying to control every part of your image. Eventually, something slips through. You can hide the truth for a while, but the real story always finds a way to break out. So now the question hanging in the air is, what happens next? Can Meghan actually bounce back from this? Can her brand survive the biggest hit it's ever faced? Or is this the start of the end for the carefully crafted image she spent years perfecting? Because one thing's clear, the world's watching every move, every statement, every silence, every reaction is being judged through this new lens. So what do you think? Is Meghan's image officially done for, or does she still have a chance to turn it around? Can she reclaim the narrative, or has the story finally slipped out of her control for good? If this breakdown made you look at things differently, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more wild deep dives. And don't forget, drop your thoughts in the comments and share this with someone who's been following every twist of this saga. Things are heating up fast, and you won't want to miss what happens next.